Hello, do you want to hear about my Stratocaster adventure? It ends well, but first let's have 60 seconds of this, and this is about as jazzy as I'm ever going to get. Thank you, good night! Right, as you probably already know from the last video, I put in an order to have a guitar custom built for me by Nick Oswald from Oswald Guitars. I then went on Reverb, fell in love visually with one and thought that's it there, bought it, asked Nick if he would graciously mind not looking at my order, which he agreed. Then I posted my YouTube video, so that's pretty much up to date. Then you all wrote to me and said, nice guitar, Paul, what about those import taxes and duty? And I can't believe it, I didn't really think about that. Now, I'll have to pay import tax and duty on whatever I bring into the UK, but this instrument was £2,100. And the more I look into it, the more I'm worried that £2,100 is going to become £3,000. And I'm not quite able to afford that. So I started shitting myself, as we say in Scotland. So I hummed and hawed about it for a while and got more and more afraid of the bill. Plus the galling aspect of it, where it would cost somebody in America X amount to buy and me a significant chunk more. It kind of annoyed me. It's the same guitar, but that's just the way the world works. So, bottom line is, I feel like a fool, but I went back to him, and thankfully I ordered it over the weekend, so he wouldn't have even had time to pack the guitar up. I got back to him before he would even have walked through the doors of his shop again, or whatever, his business, because it was a business. And long story short, we've had nice conversations and he's given me the full refund and all is well. Strangely, the guitar has not popped back up on Reverb to my knowledge. Maybe he's now got rid of it somewhere else. So I got my refund, so I went whew, and I went straight back to Nick Oswald. And now I feel like a really big idiot, because now Nick must think, who is this guy? He wants the guitar, he doesn't want the guitar. And I'm not like that. I'm an incredibly reliable dude. I've had a full-time job since I was 15. I have a long, happy marriage. I am steady Eddie. I'm boring. I'm that steady Eddie. And I'm not this flighty type that everybody must think I now am. Anyway, the point is, Nick's been brilliant. And I'm actually very excited now, because all along, having bought the Reverb Strat, I was thinking, God, it really would have been nice to be part of a project. Imagine having because the Reverb guitar had compromises. It wasn't the exact one I wanted, but visually it was beautiful enough for me to think, fine, I'll have that level of beauty and I'll work around the compromises. But to do it with Nick Oswald, I'll get exactly the spec that I want, right down to the level of Relican and the wood. So I'm very excited. I've gone back to Nick. He's graciously, happily said, yep, you're back. And so I've paid he does it where you pay half up front and you pay the other half at the end. So I've paid my monies, I'm no turning back. I'm extremely excited, and I'd like to share with you what I've bought. Obviously it's a 54 inspired Stratocaster, two-tone sunburst, just like Buddy Holly. But it's got a hardtail. I want a hardtail Strat. The one on Reverb was not. I want a hardtail Strat where you spin it round and you see the 6 ferrules in the back, just like a Telecaster. I want that more strident tone. No tremolo cavity, no metal claws and springs, none of that. Bodywood. I've chosen Swamp Ash. The one in Reverb was alder. Most Strats are alder, but some of the early ones were Swamp Ash. Now, I don't know an awful lot about wood, but Swamp Ash seems to be worn like a badge of honour amongst a lot of luthiers who specialise in Fender style instruments, as if that's somehow lighter and more sought after, and then compounded by the fact that Fender no longer uses ash for its main run guitars and keeps that for its custom shop. So Swamp Ash seems to be this wood that was quite, people want it. Well, my own experience of Swamp Ash is that Telecaster you can just see behind you. It's very light, really resonant, a lovely grain, and so I'm really excited to be getting a Swamp Ash Strat like the early 50s. Nitrocellulose lacquer, with all that entails. You know how I feel about nitro lacquer guitars and the way they age and crack. The maple neck, but also a maple board, just like a 54 55 Strat. And I've asked to see if you can have a look at putting the dirty finger marks all over the neck and age that heavily. And you'll certainly take all the finish sort of from this area here right up to here. You'll take that all off to have that played in feel, and we're going to relic, or he's going to relic the guitar, the body, with small dings and chips, and it'll be a subtle relic. I don't want too much paint gone. I don't want Rory Gallagher levels of paint missing, but something that looks definitely aged. 9.5 inch radius, 7.25 is the vintage spec. I'm comfortable with 9.5. Neck profile, you've guessed it, a fat D neck profile. Two-tone sunburst. Hardware, clues on hardware. Knobs and covers, aged white and a single ply scratch plate. 3-way or 5-way selector, what do you reckon? What do you think, Achos? 3 or 5-way? 3-way, that's cool, that's cooler. And if I really want to do something to swing, I'll find a way to wedge the pickup selector in such a way. But let's face it, there's a reason I don't like Strats, and the spec I'm making is taking it away from that springy, suspended feeling you get from the whole thing being set up on springs to more of a Telecaster, more strident guitar. Wiring. Nothing special with the wiring, but I do want the modern way where the bridge pickup can be controlled by a tone pot. And pickups. Now I was going to put bare knuckle, and I still may put the bare knuckle loaded pickguard in with the Trilogy Suite pickups, which would be described by many as inappropriate for a Strat because they're quite hot, very hot. But Nick and I have discussed it, and I'm very happy to go with his recommendation of his Oswald 62 pickups, like Dave Simpson has on his red Oswald Strat on his channel, but mine's are going to be 5-10% overwound, and mine are going to have a significant difference. They're going to have base plates, and if you know anything about base plates on Strat pickups, apparently they take some of the sound that would go into I think it goes into the body, but they project it back out. It has more beef and more output. So I'll have the slightly hotter pickups, the base plates, and then I'll live with that for a while and see how I like it. So there you go. Now I've had Strats a lot in my life. I've had the 62 Custom Shop Strat. I played a Strat and a Les Paul were my two go-to guitars for 15 years in a live situation when I played in our covers band. So Strat Les Paul covered all the songs, everything from Brown Eyed Girl That Everybody Wants to all the Hotel Californias and everything else that I wanted. And I've played friends' Strats, and so I've always played Strats. I know all about Strats. So it's taken me to age 51 to kind of refine what do I like about them, what I not like about them. And this Oswald's build is a reflection of my 51 years being alive in terms of what I want out of a Strat. So I'm very excited. I'm really excited to be part of a project. I'll get regular updates from Nick. I think he said it'll be less than 6 months, but I'm just going to decide in my head it'll take 6 months. Pay half up front, you pay the other half at the end, and I can't wait. Anyway, thank you for listening to me babble about my new guitar. Obviously I'll keep you all updated, and I shall see you at the next video.